Myki, aka Buzztune, tell me, why are you investing in real estate?
Okay, so hey Radian, how's it going? And
Good.
when when I started, I kind of came from a pain point where I would get my paycheck, then after the first week, I would have no money left. And I would constantly be chasing that debt cycle. And I was getting really worried about that. So I figured I got to get myself out of this hole. So I started to the Dave Ramsey path.
Okay.
And then so once I got out of debt, I'm like, okay, now
Mhm.
that I'm out of debt, what do I do with my savings?
Were you in
Then,
a significant debt or just like credit cards?
yeah, I would say not significant, but I was kind of knee deep in stuff where I was scrambling a lot and I was just kind of taking a look at my life and how I was living. And I'm like, no, this is not the way for me.
Mm-hmm.
I got to find a way out of here. And that's when I kind of found Dave Ramsey, jumped
Yep.
out of that. And then once I started figuring out, okay, my savings, where do I put this? I
Mhm.
went on a 4-year path of Roth IRAs,
Mhm.
401ks,
Okay.
retirement accounts. Then at the same time, I was trying to experiment with other stuff. So I was kind of doing 2 years in crypto.
I see. Okay.
And because I'm in Hawaii and for my salary, I'm just kind of like a middle salary.
Mm-hmm.
I was just trying to figure out ways because I always had real estate on the back of my mind,
Mm-hmm.
but I could never find anything because, you know, the
Hawaii is pretty expensive, right? Like the living expenses are pretty high there, right?
yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
so the cost of a home out here is around $1 million.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, I kind of knew, and even me, I didn't really want to get into condos because even though HOA fees are in the
Mhm.
500 to 700 range,
Yep.
yeah, so I was trying to just find ways where I could have my savings, turn that into investing. And that's when I met Mark Roshiro because
Yep. Financial firefighter. Yeah. If you guys
financial
don't know
fire.
him, follow him on YouTube. It's a financial firefighter.
Yeah,
He has
so
some great content.
yeah, I'm so grateful for him because he helped me get started.
And
Where
how did you meet him? How did you network with him?
my best friend is a firefighter,
Oh, okay.
and
So it was
yeah,
an in-person meeting, an in-person knowledge of him. Okay, got it.
yeah, yeah, and he's like, hey, you should check out my friend. He just started his channel.
Hmm.
You should kind of look at what he's doing because I think you guys are very investor focused.
Hmm.
And once I started following Mark, then I figured, hey, why not just reach out to him?
Yep.
I reached out to him, and that day he got back to me, and we just started talking. He actually recorded it on his channel, so
Oh,
that's
nice.
yeah. So you can see me kind of not knowing what I was doing, what I was getting
Hmm.
myself into, but now that I'm on the real estate journey and that I have two single family home rentals, it's like I'm 100%. That's my focus, and it's like no other investment class that I've ever experienced, and I love it.
Got it. Okay, so let's see like your timeline, right? From the time that you met Mark or the financial firefighter until the time that you bought your first property. How long was that? How long did that take?
So that's the thing where I I met Mark, I want to say in March of last
Okay.
year,
Okay.
and or maybe even April, but then it's like that's when I got my first property in May.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the
Yeah.
thing where me and Mark we kind of laugh about it because he was telling me I'm going to make mistakes along the way, and I really didn't take it seriously where I should have really kind of had a deep dive into my education,
Mm-hmm.
into what I was doing, and I kind of just rushed through things on the first
Okay.
one.
Mm-hmm.
So I made mistakes, but even looking back now, I'm still cash flowing, and I loved all the mistakes because I could learn from them.
Okay.
And just that's when it kind of snapped in my mind where it's like, okay, now I really got to start figuring out who do I look for advice.
Yep.
There's Dion Talk Financial
Mhm.
Freedom, Lumberjack
Yes, it's the
Landlord.
whole ORAAT community, right? It's getting bigger and bigger, which me and you we're both part of. So I'm thankful for those guys as well.
Yeah, and that's why it's so great seeing you in the boot camps and when you and Matt, you're talking about balloon framing, and
Hmm.
it's like a different language to me, but it's like I love hearing about it because
It
it's
was a
something I can
different
learn.
language to me as well, just a week ago. And then I spent like a whole week trying to figure out because I'm having this structural issue at my first property where one of the walls is kind of bowing away from the floor, from the floor joist. But the property is a balloon frame, so I'm scrambling around like, what is this? How do I fix this? And what kind of screws I use for this? And the whole week. And this is actually why I don't recommend beginners do what I did, which is do a complete gut rehab with the first property. But this is exactly why I wanted to do it because I wanted all of the learning that I'm going through like right up front, you know. And it's been so much learning; it's unbelievable. I've met all the contractors in my area. I've met other investors. So if you're up for it, I would say for beginners do it, but it's definitely not beginner friendly to do a complete gut rehab, you know. So yeah, it's all about the learning. And Matt, you know, he's a wealth of knowledge as well. You know, he knows so much. So I'm thankful that whether he knows it or not, and whether he likes it or not, he's my mentor now. So you know, it's been great going, especially the boot camps as well. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
all right.
seeing
So you had your first property with you know, I'm guessing you used some of Mark's team and his contact and all that, right?
Yeah, and that's why I'm so thankful because I hopped on his coattails and he introduced me to his property management, his realtor,
Nice.
and it was, and then he was saying, it's like kind of it's me now. It's
Hmm.
like, and that's what I didn't realize. Where in my first interview with him, I was talking about like a passive investment.
Hmm.
It is nothing passive. It
Oh
is, yeah,
yeah, yeah. I stopped using that word. Back in the day, before I even had any real estate, I used to think, "Oh, I want that residual income. You know, I want passive income." But yeah, it's not passive, especially if you count like all the hours and all the time you put in to acquire the property or to actually just learn, right? All the knowledge. Because even though I bought my first property, what, like a year and a half ago, there's I would say like a whole decade before that of me learning and you know, finding my path through life and ending in real estate. All that knowledge, you know, all of that is time. So there's nothing really passive about this at all. So
yeah. And that's one thing I loved is, with the 401ks and the ROTs, it's like once you have your systems like saving and investing,
mhm.
it's like that pretty much goes on autopilot.
Yep.
And what I really like about real estate investing is that you can constantly improve on not only just real estate investing and learning that
Mhm.
kind of market, but you can also invest in yourself where,
Oh yeah.
yeah, you talk about communication and networking. And man, it's like I've seen so much. I met so many great people like you. And,
Yep.
we have those weekly meetings with Frank Contreras, the old guy
Mhm.
REI, and you just meet so many great, and you and me, we're in Sierra's think tank, so
Yeah, we're
there's,
there. Yeah, so it's a great community, and I like all like the little channels and the little groups that
yeah,
are forming. You know, so it's it all I think it all stems from ORAAT, right? From Michael Zuber. So I think he's the one who started it all, and that's how I discovered Matt after him, and then Dion, and then you know Millennium Mike, and then everyone else, including you as well. So. All right, yeah, that's great. It's a common theme with everyone that I meet. You know, it's a great community. So cool. So now you say you have two properties. Then how long until you got the second property after
yeah.
the first?
So yeah, after the first one, so that was May, and the second one I closed in February of this year.
Okay, nice.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
pretty recent. So you just closed and cool. So now where is that going? Right? Are you just looking for the next deal and that's it, or do you have some kind of grand plan in mind? And then also try to answer why exactly are you doing this, right? Because I know freedom. I was well, I kind of gave the answer away, the freedom, but I know that Dion talks a lot about like extending his life, right? And you do that by basically extending your time, which is what you're doing with investing in real estate, and that's really why I'm doing it. It's all about the time freedom for me. I just had a baby, a 10-month old, so you know I want to spend as much time as I can, you know, with him just playing sports and swimming and learning chess and hiking and whatever comes up. I want to do all of that, and I don't want to. And he's probably going to be part of the business as well. Learning real estate. As I'm learning as well. So why are you doing it? What is your thing?
Yeah, I love your story, and that's why everyone has a different journey, and I love hearing about because everyone has their unique
Mm-hmm.
set of circumstances, and I just love hearing about it because I can take what they're going through and kind of internalize it myself.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
for me, I I met a girl in Japan. So my friend introduced me, and we've gotten like our relationship has really grown.
Mm-hmm.
So our relationship is going around about 3 years now. And what I'm realizing is, I'm for my W-2, I only have 3 weeks vacation.
Mm-hmm.
So I can only see her so many times per year, and
Yep.
she can come to Hawaii, but I just wish we could spend more time together.
Yeah.
So that's a big reason where it's like and she's up for it. She
Mm-hmm.
supports me and what we're doing together. So I'm saying I am trying to go bare knuckle everything. I'm trying to save money. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
trying to anything I can do to save for the next property. Anything I can do to reach stabilization on the
Mm-hmm.
first two and have that money coming in so I can save it for the next property and just keep on going, grinding away. And yeah, that's my fear is I was kind of staring through the barrel of that
Mm-hmm.
65-year-old retirement age.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even me, I'm 40 now, and I'm looking at that. I'm like, yeah, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
I
It's
gotta
not gonna work.
find.
That's way too long. And what is the point of retiring at that time, right? I mean, you'll be old, and well, hopefully you'll be somewhat healthy and be able to like move around and stuff. But the point is to do everything now, right? Like all the things we want to do is now. So I think no matter what people's reasons are, I think ultimately it comes down to time freedom, right? I think ultimately it all goes back down to that because no matter what you're trying to do, it's all about getting your time back, right, and your freedom back. So that's great. And just to back up a little bit with the properties, you said you have two, but we didn't mention where. So where are you investing? What
Oh, so
area?
that's in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe we did mention that, but there's also a thing that maybe I can learn something from you here because I invest. Well, I chose to move. Well, let me back up. I was trying to invest in New York City where I was living there for 20 years. It wasn't happening there, way too expensive, probably the same situation as you in Hawaii. So I decided to move to New Hampshire. I'm currently in Keene, New Hampshire. It's a town of 20,000 people, and invested here, right? So I'm investing. I'm literally like 5 minutes away from all of my properties. So you are investing out of state. So we might have some more videos where I can pick your brain a little bit about investing out of state and building a team and what you learned from Mark as well. And I know that Millennium Mike, he's also working on a course for
yes.
investing out of state, right? And he's like the king of investing out of state, I guess, or the king of Gary, he calls himself. So yeah, so that'd be fun to chat about that in the future and learn a little bit about that. And yeah, so what's next for you, or what's any like pain points that you have now when it comes to your business?
Yeah, and I agree completely. I'm really looking forward to Millennial Mike's course.
Mm-hmm.
And so my pain points, it's Matt in the boot camps, he's talking about slow and steady.
Mm-hmm.
And when I look back, I should have took more time. I should have took more time educating myself.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely I'm learning from my mistakes, but it's like I'm trying to lessen my mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So on that's why when Dion talks about future land, it's like I relate to that a lot because when I was going through kind of the pain points, it's like I'll watch a Dion video and he covers it. I'm like, yes, okay, it's like a fortune, teller, and
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
yeah, that's exactly what I went through. And I'll pick up stuff where he talks about shopping, like
Mm-hmm.
shopping the rates and everything, and
Mm-hmm.
shopping insurance. Just that thought alone, where I could shop, because my first insurance quote I got, it was like for $1,000. And that was kind of outrageous for the numbers I was working with.
Mhm.
And sure enough, once I started shopping, I brought that down to about 467 for the year.
Oh wow,
And
that's a
just
massive
that,
difference. Yeah.
yeah, just being able to network with different people, just
Mhm.
trying to find out who would they recommend as insurance brokers and understanding deductibles, that was it was like gold for me when I heard that. And it's all about that's why the REI Ventures, they've made a big impact. And I know you're gonna try to make it out for next year for Vegas. So I'm really looking forward to meeting you in person.
Yeah, yeah, definitely will make it next year. This year I couldn't make it because well, uh young baby, and we're trying to
Yeah.
want to avoid the planes, with the baby, and I kind of don't want to leave my wife and the baby back home while I'm out traveling. We kind of try to do everything together. So definitely next year we'll try to make it. But yeah, this is great. Let's see. I probably should have mentioned this in the beginning, but this will kind of be a new, I guess, series, or I guess call it season in my channel. So I'll try to interview or chat and get people's stories who are at about my level, who are maybe completely new, who don't have any properties yet, maybe have one or two, or even ones who are a little bit ahead of me, because that's who I'm gonna learn from, and people who are doing something completely different, like you, who are investing out of state. So I will try to chat with people like that, and then maybe 6 months, maybe a year after, we'll connect again and see where we are on our journey, right? So maybe you'll have two more properties if we do it in 6 months or in one year. Learn about all the mistakes you made and what you learned, and I believe that's probably of extreme value to everyone who's gonna watch it. So yeah, you're basically the first one. So congrats, episode one.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate you even taking the time and seeing you in the boot camps and how you're talking with Matt. It's like I learned from your guys' discussions. So I
Mhm.
really appreciate you asking those type of questions because that's what I wish. I wish I could get my hands on things and
Mhm. That's
Matt
what you
Matt
can get when you invest out of state, right? You kind of have to well, you do gain other skills for sure, other skills that I don't have, like your networking needs to be even better, and you're reaching out to people remotely. That's something that probably I can't do as good as you, but yeah, I'm maybe in the future I'll have to invest out of state as well. You never know where the journey takes us. So yeah, I think that's all the questions I had for you. Let me know if you have any questions for me. I'm excited to answer questions.
Yeah, so I was thinking about marriage, and I know Dion and Millennium Mike have their thoughts on it,
Oh yeah,
but
they're yeah.
but for like Zuber and Matt,
Hmm.
you know, you're in the growth mode and you're really trying to save every single dime.
Yep.
How would you kind of look at that when you're trying to grow, but you're also, you know, you're trying to grow this relationship
Mhm.
too,
Yep.
and we're in a long distance relationship, so we're
Mhm.
trying to figure out how is the best way to keep it under budget, but at the same time be growing like pretty aggressively too.
Okay. I think I have some advice there. Well, I'll tell you like how I do it, right? So I've talked about this with Ned from Ned Talks as well. There's a new video coming up with him as well. And I have a thing where there's some aspects or some areas of my life where the time and the money there is non-negotiable, right? So for example, my sleep, right? I'm not gonna take away 2 to 3 hours of my sleep in order to save some money somewhere, right? Or let's say to I don't know, like grow the business, right? It might happen once or twice, but I'm not gonna, like for example, now that I'm doing the gut rehab, I'm not gonna work 10 hours there and 10 hours at my full-time job and then sleep 3 hours, right? I'm not doing that. So I'm aspects of my life that are non-negotiable, for example, sleep, and then food as well. So I'm not gonna skimp on food, right? When I go to the groceries, I'm not gonna try to get the cheapest thing possible, the lowest quality thing possible, because I know that in the long term, that's actually much much worse, even on your pocket than than, when you try to save something for right now, right? And free time as well, like exercise, for example. I still do still exercise. We do walks, with the family, with the baby. We have kind of like date nights as well, like once a week, and I take some weekends off as well, so there's some areas in your life that non-negotiable, no matter what you're trying to do, like trying to become a billionaire or something like that. I mean, maybe if you're trying to become a billionaire, you probably have to work like 20 hours a day, like like some people, but I don't really want that. So there's some areas that are definitely non-negotiable, but then there's other areas that you probably know yourself that you can improve on, like me, like scrolling on my phone, for example. Before I go to sleep, right, I can probably spend like an hour being on the phone, right, and I know for sure that I can definitely use that 1 hour a lot better, right? And then there's breaks as well. Like when you take a little break from work, are you on your phone or are you doing something else? So like little areas like this is how I would recommend. And when it comes to long distance, one example could be like, okay, well, if you're gonna see each other, let's say 4 times a year, and you're trying to save, so now you cut it down to three. Are you really saving with that, one time? Maybe you can, you look at your other uh, areas of your life where you can save instead of the ones that are important, where you can cut off. So the thing about that, some areas are non-negotiable when it comes to growth. So that would be my recommendation there. And I'm not an expert in time management, but this is the way I see it. So take it as you may.
Yeah, and thank you for that, because the non-negotiable part that really, rings in my mind. And even when you and Ned talked about the one thing,
Hmm.
that
Yeah,
that book
exactly. Yeah.
that book has really helped me a lot, because
Hmm.
I had this conversation with Keller Williams' agent in Hawaii,
Okay.
and we were just having kind of a nice conversation. Then once I brought that book up, it's like
Hmm.
she lit up, because I don't know if they're required to read that book, but our conversation got even better after I talked
Hmm.
about that book. So that really helped me. Your video got
Yep.
me to get the Audible book, and going through that book, it resonated a lot with me, especially the part about chaos in your life, and
Hmm.
saying, that's okay to have chaos in your life,
Of course.
as long as your focus is still on the one thing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and chaos is useful too. Chaos helps, because if everything is nice and smooth and mellow, then there's no like resistance for a little bit of growth, right? So there won't be any growth in your business or in your everyday life. So
Yeah.
yeah, cool. Anything else? Any other questions you got for me?
No, that's pretty good. Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate the talk, and I hope we can continue talking too.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I hope you grow in your business and in your life as well. And maybe 6 months, maybe 1 year. I haven't figured out the interval yet, but yeah, we'll connect again. And of course, we're gonna be in touch, in the comments and in the boot camps that we have. But for the channel here, we'll have an update maybe 6 months to a year. And yeah, hopefully, we both have grown a lot during that time. Thank
Yeah,
you.
sure.
Thanks for coming. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, you can leave us some comments. Tell us what you liked and what else you want to hear. If you like this type of videos that I'm making. Also, what you didn't like, tell me if my speaking is getting a little bit better, because I know that my speaking ability is not the best, but I'm trying to improve it. This is one of the reasons that I made the channel as well. The main reason is that I want my son to be able to see this when he's older,
Yeah.
right? That's reason number one. And second would be to improve my communication a little bit and network with people like you and Ned, which I met on YouTube as well, and everyone else. So last thing for you. When is the Buzztune channel gonna be up and running? When's your first video?
I I am trying to experiment more on X. So
Okay.
I
They have
post.
videos there too now, all right? You can do videos there?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I'm trying to post as pop culture adrenaline on there.
Okay.
And how Zuber talks about just follow your passion.
Yeah, yeah, that's
This
it. Yeah.
Yeah, this might sound counterintuitive, but I do enjoy like movies, television, and music.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I try to take something that I'm enjoying and how that motivates me or how that could motivate someone in their own life.
Mhm.
And that's kind of my angle on it. But
Excellent.
I'm more in the comment section and just try to help other
Oh yeah,
channels.
you're gonna be like the all-nighter hider, right? He's the comment guy. Yeah, so you're next, and he has a channel as well too, and he's posting videos which are exciting too. So yeah, it's great to see everyone making channels and posting videos. We're all learning from each other. So I'll probably
Yep.
have all-nighter on as well at some point.
I love
All
that.
right, excellent. Well, thank you for coming, and it was great. See you in 6 months to a year.
Okay. Thanks, Radian.
All
See you
right.
guys.